life as we know it will come to an end in 90 days. It's on us to change that.
I can't leave my family.
Don't pretend your family is exempt when we talk about the end of humanity.
Hey, it's Dave Weiner with ET Online, and today I'm getting a little survival training, World War Z style.
And here comes the mouse. A little tiny hole.
This might be the only opportunity to learn how to survive. So, we're going to talk about what's called the classic error. The classic error is called the classic error because it always happens. Every person makes this mistake. The problem is that I'm leading with my face. My weapon, my defense, is behind me. This is a bad thing. So if you put your weapon up just like you're going to put it on your shoulder, as soon as I step in, I should be struck. Boom. This is the classic error, and you are exploiting or taking advantage of the classic error. Basically, you're ending the fight before it begins. So if you imagine you're holding a framing hammer or a hatchet, different reality than a nice soft padded stick, okay? So here I am, this madman who wants to hurt you, and I'm stepping into range, and boom. And now you have to still deal with this. Yes, then you could grab my weapon if it was an impact weapon. You might not want to grab it if it was a blade, but you could certainly obstruct it, and then you could, off goes my head, okay? So it's very simple because everybody makes it.
You get injured pretty badly in this movie. You're a fighter.
Yeah.
You know, how did you tap into that for this role?
Maybe same way when I auditioned, and this is pretty embarrassing, but when I auditioned, I had this hoodie on my head, and I listened to a Jessie J song, "Do It Like a Brother, Do It Like a," yeah? So it's kind of channeling your inner dude, or the tomboy that I have in me. And have thought about something that gets me really angry to kind of channel that energy.
Now, working with Brad, how was that as an actor and a producer and a star?
He's a very cool guy, and it was a brilliant experience working with him. I got to learn a lot from him. He's very, very focused, and as a producer, I think it was also interesting to see him working as an actor, but also as a producer because he was so involved with everything else aside from his acting.
Now, if a real zombie invasion actually happened, do you feel like you actually could be prepared for something like that?
As far as it comes to paving my way and manipulating weapons to shoot them in the right spot, I'm good.
You feel confident, you've got the right training. Where would you want to go? Where would be your ultimate escape from the invasion?
This looks nice.
A lion's cave. Very good. At an abandoned zoo.
Yeah.
That's a great place to hide.
Probably go underground, I think.
Yeah.
Or on a boat in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, that's
On a cruise. Go on a cruise. Why not? You have a good excuse.
Very good. And could you wave to everybody with your left hand just so we know that this was just a movie role?
It's all good.
Oh, great.
I'm with Sam Sheridan, the author of Disaster Diaries, and we're here in Los Angeles. And if disaster strikes, can you give me 3 things that people should think of first?
Surrounded by disaster, Los Angeles, just under the knife. 3 things to think about in a disaster. Well, you have to be aware of where you are. I mean, the specifics of your situation are going to be changing all the time. There's not any one thing that's really important. If you're in Southern California, you're worried about heat. You're worried about water. If you're in Minnesota in January, it's not a concern. You're much more worried about exposure and being cold and footwear, stuff like that. So it's just going to be, I always like to say, and survival's very improvisational. It's like jazz. It's always changing, and it's always, there's no perfect lean-to. There's no perfect trap. There's no perfect anything. It's always going to be about the materials you have and the situation you're given and kind of working to make the best of it.
Most of the people watching this right now, they're probably watching on their computer. They've got their latte nearby.
Right.
They've got fresh batteries.
Yeah.
They just went to
Life's
the video
good.
store or something like that. They don't even have to do that. They downloaded a video. But basically what I'm getting at is they have all the creature comforts,
Yeah.
and people have this false sense of security.
Sure.
So if the thing, whether it's a zombie apocalypse
Yeah.
or a blackout or a
Solar
tornado,
storm, yeah, an
or
EMP, whatever.
anything
There's
like
a million.
that.
We can go through. We can sit here and go through 1,000 disaster scenarios, and that's why I'm kind of against some of the more traditional bunkering up survival, because I feel like you don't know yet that the bunker is going to be where you want to be until you're sure. Do you need to spend $100,000 on a bunker? And I think, for some people, listen, it's great, do it. God bless you. But for me personally, it wasn't, financially there, and then it could be a crutch, man. You're like, I'm not leaving. I got the bunker, and you should have gone. And so there's so many different disasters that we're kind of aware of these days, and that's in the press and in the movies and everything, that I think you got to stay flexible.
So in World War Z, Brad Pitt tells this family, survival is movement. What are some of the things you would bring with you? If you're not going to bunker down or bunker down, what should you be bringing with yourself? Good boots?
Yeah,
Water? What can you bring?
I think, in the mountains, we've always say speed is safety in the mountains, right? Which is almost the same thing as saying survival is movement, because you want that flexibility. Then you can get out of the way of something. You can get out of a storm. If you can hike fast, you can get the storms coming. You can get down, right? And the same with the zombie thing. If you're flexible and you can move, you can get out of somewhere.
The lights go out, the zombies trash through your window. What's the first mistake people can make, and what can they do to avoid that mistake? What do you recommend?
Listen, they got the 4 F's right there. You got F by the fickle finger of fate, right? Bad luck can come, and you just have to roll with it. I think underestimating what stress and fear does to people is kind of the biggest mistake people make. Is they think they're going to rise to the occasion. They think they're going to be the hero.
You brought your boots today?
I'm wearing my boots. I'm rocking my
go.
boots.
So I got loafers. That's not going to get me far.
You'd be all right. I mean, you can go for those. They have some rubber on them. You know what I mean? Try it. See what happens.
All right, well, if
do
I'm
30
with
miles
you-
in them and see how they go.
All right, if you're with me, hopefully I'll survive a little longer.
We can only hope, man. We can only hope.